Stefan, how are you doing?
Thank you. Fine. Hi, chat. Nice to see you.
Hey. So, how can I support you best today?
So I think it's about audience.
Mm,
So why I think about this? It's a thing I struggle with about for a few months now. I think I always come back to that question for myself: Who is my perfect audience? So
mm,
I work a lot on like ideas, workshops, and content, and talking a lot to like people and prospects. I think
yeah.
I create something, and then I always come back to that thought, which is the right audience? Is this the right audience I built for at the moment, or is it something different? Is it
Mm,
someone
mm, mm.
even more like me, as you described in your
Yeah. Yeah. Great discernment. What is it about the workshop creation experience, do you think, that keeps bringing you back to this idea of audience?
yeah, maybe something the current workshop I'm building or built is like built for leaders in corporate companies
Uh-huh.
and leaders of like small teams. And I know this audience quite well. I think I also like
Mm,
have a lot of leaders in my network and talk a lot to them.
yeah. Yeah.
But building workshops for them somehow feels a bit off because I took myself out of this corporate world for the
Mm,
last 2 years now. And I'm self-employed and I coach leaders from time to time. But it
mhm.
feels somehow a bit off because I took myself out of classical leadership role.
Yeah,
I still work
yeah.
with teams and groups, but I'm not a classical leader as I see my audience.
Uh-huh. Okay. So sounds like you can create workshops for this audience. It's straightforward for you to create workshops for this audience, but it feels like there's something maybe lacking, something missing. The energy isn't quite there around these workshops for you. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, exactly. I built them, and I also like built like my offerings for my own company, and it works somehow. From time to time, there is a client and work and nice work, but
Mm,
I think there is more energy from me somehow, and more
yes.
energy from my client.
Yeah, absolutely. Me
Yeah,
too. And you've been creating a few workshop ideas over the last few weeks and months, right?
yeah, it's not just a few. It's like
Loads, yeah.
loads.
Have
Yeah.
they all been directed so far at this audience?
Um, Yes, it was always around leaders, like
Mm, mm, mm. And we've been going back and forth on these workshop ideas, right? And we've been going back and forth on them is probably the right description there. To me, it feels like progressing in some ways in terms of clarity and in terms of um, positioning, but at the same time, feeling like there's some sort of loop happening, which is holding us back from getting to a place with these workshops where it feels really energy infused, really inspiring, really um, clear, really simple, something like that.
yeah, exactly. That's like what my vision is like have a really simple like, and clear,
Yeah,
not just workshop, but also message what I do, what
yeah,
my
exactly.
impact is, and I
Exactly.
never like had this in this clarity, and I think it is somewhere.
Somewhere in audience. Yes. Yeah. Cool. Can I share with you what I think is happening here?
Please, yeah.
I feel that so what do we say when it comes to audience? We say that our best people are versions of ourselves. Our best people are previous versions of ourselves. The people who we can help the most are previous versions of us. I still believe that to be true.
Mhm.
And in fact, I've never known that not to be true. Especially in the coaching world, I've always found that to be true. And it remains true as we evolve. As we evolve as humans, as we evolve as coaches, as we evolve as in our work capacity, we evolve, and our best clients are still previous versions of us. But if we go one layer more nuanced in this, what I'll often say around this is that our best clients are 2 steps behind us. They're 2 levels behind us. They're 2 layers behind us. And that's why the statement and that statement continues to be true as you traverse your journey through this world, because you evolve and they evolve and you evolve and they evolve, and oftentimes you are involved in their evolution as well, directly or indirectly. And so what I feel is happening here is that the corporate people you're talking to are here, and at some point you were here. You're 2 steps ahead of them. But now you, especially recently, you've evolved over to here. We're still talking to these people. Now, it doesn't mean that you can't help them. You can, and oftentimes what will happen in a business architecture is that when you have a fully built out business architecture, you right at the beginning, at the top of the funnel of that, you might actually work with people who are 3 or 4 steps behind you in the journey and have a fully built out way to take them through a journey step by step, piece by piece, to bring them closer and closer to you, closer and closer to intimacy with you in a business setting, where as they get further down the road, they gain more access to you. Why? Because that, like, you always want to work with the people in your business where you have the most energy, where the energy is most rich in the relationship, because that's where you're going to be inspired, at your best, enthusiastic, like at the top of your game. That's where your people are going to like get the most value from you, because it's recent, it's relatable, it's still aspirational, so it's the perfect sweet spot. And also, when we're talking about something very important here, and I know this is important for you, which is absorbing this energy from the market, it's really hard um to if we are the one that's bringing the energy to this, if we're having to use that drive energy from within us or like in order to push this out to the market. These terms are quite common, right? To push things out to the market, then we it's hard. It's hard for us, and also that energy is felt by the market. Whereas what we really want when we're talking about positioning of an offer or an offering is something that is pull marketing, right? Something that is attractive, something that really calls people in, something that you feel called to do. And in order to do that, we have to focus on where the energy is most rich. And where the energy is most rich typically is going to be people who are 2 steps behind you now. And so that's what I think is happening here. You've evolved. And so actually, they're just really just isn't that much energy behind those people in the corporate anymore. You feel you feel distinct from them. You said it yourself. Like, I don't feel like I'm like these people anymore. You feel a little like separate from them, like detached from them. So yes, I think what we do here is we get to work out actually who is closer to where you are now, who is and you've described it yourself, who is it that is who is it that is in your world now? Who is it that your world is actually, populated with and filled with? Who is it that you're already interacting and interfacing with in your work, in your world, in your personal life?
Mhm,
These are very likely going to be the people that it's going to be easy for you to connect on into. It's going to be
mhm,
easy for them to connect to you. And there's much less trying to make it happen, much more it happens as a product of the stuff that you're already doing and the person that you are in this moment.
mhm.
Tell me how that feels.
Yeah, I never thought about it like I'm talking to people who are 4 steps behind me.
Mm.
Like I never thought about this, or I never like gave myself the permission to think 2 steps behind me.